piece is called Homeless di Milo, which is one of his earlier sculptural pieces, which obviously is making reference to the homeless epidemic that we have in the UK, but around the world in general. And it's quite evocative, with obviously a semi-naked woman being out on the street with a sign around her neck, presumably explaining her destitution and appealing for help. And again, it's done very much as a classical sculpture, so you've got the play of classical art, contemporary issue, and to my mind is pretty thought-provoking. Over here, we have Applause, which, in my view, is one of Banksy's most poignant masterpieces. And clearly, it's a play on the fact that you have presumably that's an F-14 Tomcat taking off from a US aircraft carrier. And, you know, everyone seeks to applaud war and, you know, glorify war in various films and various movies and various traditional sort of outlets, and you know, every man wants to be a war hero and all this stuff. But actually, the reality of war is it's horrific. It causes untold suffering, and it's utterly futile. And I think this piece sort of raises those questions, and that's particularly poignant today. This was particularly interesting because Banksy used to spray this on a wall, and then obviously the authorities didn't know if the graffiti was legal or illegal because it looks quite official. And so it was quite a clever way of actually, in a very guerrilla tactic, enabling people to graffiti, even though, of course, he put it up himself. And so I think Steve, as the curator, put this up, and obviously local Georgian artists have graffitied behind it.
We offered Steve Lazaridis to curate this show, and he came to Georgia 2 months ago. So he decided he is the man who knows Banksy personally, who worked with Banksy, who was his driver, photographer, everything. And then he came up to the idea to exhibit not only original works, but his photographs as well, because he has unique photos of Banksy, his portraits, how he worked in the streets. And the main idea of this exhibition is to show to the people how Banksy, the vandal artist, came to the museum, how Banksy and Banksy's works came to the fine arts.
I started looking at it, and I'd seen quite how much he did in this short period of time, and where the legend's born was like in this period of time. So it starts in 1997 when I first met him, and it goes through to 2006, which is the end of his barely legal show in Los Angeles. Because by the time that's finished, he's gone from being nationally famous to internationally famous. You know, you've got this one here, was the one that is at the Natural History Museum, where he installed this rat in a box, and you can see how busy it is. It's like half term at a Natural History Museum. Like, there was a tidal wave of people. So that was pretty important. You've got this show here called Crude Oils. So this is the last show before the one in Los Angeles. And by this time, he's really starting to get up ahead of steam. It's like we're starting to move through the motions when it comes to putting shows on. So he had this idea for a show with having like 200 live rats in, and it took me 6 months to find a landlord that would allow me to have 200 live rats running around in their space. This was another thing that got quite a lot of press, and like, this is him. Someone asked me earlier what it was about Banksy that I took away the most, and it was like his balls. It's like he had more like steel than anybody about like the locations, what he was doing. Like he had real, like, you know, stuff that was impossible. Yeah, but it happened.